This conference will now be recorded.
So I worked as a SD consultant earlier. I moved into BRIM consultant around in 2016. So later on, I have done a lot of like I was part of multiple implementation projects. I was worked with multiple clients and for all the version, including CRM based version of subscription based business plus SAP 2020 version. Okay, till 2020 version. So we will go through the what exactly the CRM version of BRIM and what exactly 2020 version of BRIM, what it mean to us and as a consultant, right? So I know both of one person is a consultant. If I'm not wrong, Ravi is consulting as a functional and other person as a developer. So I see one more person joined. Amasana, right? I would like to quickly introduce yourself. You're just starting now.
Hi, sorry for my late. My name is Mastan. I'm in a CRM resource. So, and my CRM, the reason for joining this meeting is because my CRM area is going down. I don't see SAP CRM has a lot of scope in other areas, so I won't expand to this area. That's a intention of me to join.
Good to know. Just one thing, you're a developer or functional?
I'm a pure functional. I can read the code, but I can't do exactly debugging completely.
Okay, good. No worries, no worries. Okay. So yeah, so let's begin the session, right? Actually, everyone knows what is trend towards, right? All the SAP consultants as a SAP consultant. So we were into the era where ST sales and distribution, where we sell the product and forget it. Like in the sense, we deliver either order-based invoice, that is part of OTC, right? Order to cash cycle, where finally once we invoice, we forget it. So the customer is the life cycle, our integration, our interaction with the customer is ends there. So now, since when we started our journey, where exactly it started, BRIM, right? So in around 2009, SAP wanted to move towards a telco because SAP, their footprint in the telco was null, right, in 2009. So they wanted to get into the telco, but if you look at the telco as a whole industry, it's a huge database and maintenance, right? It's kind of a live transaction maintenance. That's something which SAP doesn't hold any such application at that time. So SAP bought this Ideal is something which is called as a convergent charging, which we will cover in subsequent session. So SAP purchased or bought this Ideal application, which is a convergent charging, which is a Java-based application to go for large scale transactions. Okay. So they introduced the Ideal. They integrated this particular piece of usage as handling system Java-based application to SAP. So that's where SAP started this BRIM era, right, in 2009. So so when SAP started that, and so in 2009, if you know, Geo is one of the biggest client for SAP. They went with this BRIM component in around in 2009 and onwards, right? So they implemented around 3-4 years. They are still using the BRIM as a core usage-based engine. So now moving on, around 2013, they wanted to expand this particular engine, which is integrated with the SAP CRM and ECC. At that time, we didn't add that S4 database, right? Around 2013, they wanted to integrate this omni channel in the sense hybrid billing. So they named it as hybrid billing around 2013. So they bought the Ibris as, again, that's another Java-based application, again cloud-based version. That time that was kind of booming. Where if you look at the CPQ, SAP CPQ, or if you look at the Salesforce CPQ, the same way. This is another application where Ibris billing, which is not there in the market. Like SAP couldn't succeed in that omni-channel business. So they integrated whole front-end application to BRIM component, and they renamed, rebranded the old stuff with hybrid billing around 2013. Okay, so it went on around till 2016-17. Kind like clients were like here and there they started coming towards or moving towards the subscription, but this whole applications, right, where we have a CRM, hybrid billing, hybrid system as a separate, and CC version, ECC version, it was kind of too many applications to integrate in the industry, right? Like if any clients would like to go for BRIM, they had to go for different resource kind of thing, right? That's very hard, and maintenance also very hard. So around 2018 or 17, so 1709, there was an introduction of customer management. So SAP thought of moving towards this CRM box, right? CRM box they want to decouple or decommission, right? They wanted to decommission the CRM. They moved that CRM component as a customer management in S4 box, 1709. And 1709, that second additional license where customer needs to purchase as a plugin. They have to purchase, and it was not user friendly, and it has a lot of bottlenecks in terms of pricing, integrating the pricing component and all. It was not well versed in the sense where it couldn't go through well. Later on, 1809, SAP introduced the component called service. Okay, so around 1809, they introduced a component called service within S4 box. Okay, S4. Since you guys all three from SAP background, I'm not going in detail what is S4, what is ECC, right? You might by this time you guys know. So in 1809, they introduced a component called service, which integrates to your sales and distribution. Okay, so to get some of the pricing, other stuffs, which we will discuss in detail how it integrated. So 1809 onwards, clients started moving towards a subscription world. So the word changed in the sense SAP as a usage based. It's kind of now everyone going towards a subscription version, right? Anything as a service, anything as a SaaS. Okay, so desktop as a service, SaaS, software as a service. So everyone moving towards a subscription base. So SAP thought like introducing the service component to S4 is kind of it's going very. If you look at the outside market, it's booming. So if you look at the transaction, so replacement. I don't say as a replacement. Substitute of your sales and distribution is something which is called as now BRIM. Okay, so it's going to be a big bang going forward. Like now they are into on-prem. Future they are working. SAP is working on a cloud-based BRIM component, which is already there in the market, but it's kind of again growing stage, right? So this is something which is how SAP evolved over the years, right? So from 2009 till now in 2020 version, every version whenever they introduce every pack they release, support pack they release every three packs they release, right? Every pack has its own advantages. They introduce and they made it so simple. Now 2022 is having a lot of additional functionality. We will go over okay what was there in 1909, 1809. Whenever I go through the system configuration, I will explain okay this version is available in this particular 1809. So if what is available in 2020 version, what is available in 2021 version, right? So that I will go through in detail configuration, what is there in each, and whether any supporting notes being released to enhance your existing version. Those things we will cover in detail. Okay, that's something which is talks about how BRIM started its journey and where we are today. Okay, so now what exactly the BRIM is? It's something which it gives you a module to design your products and price and configure it and sell it. And once the subscription, that is called as a subscription order management, where when you create your order, you will create a contract and you meter. If it is a usage base, you can meter that. That is called as a convergent charging, where transaction pricing happens. And once you everything, if it is Your regular recurring based, there is a concept called the bill plan, which will take care of billing every month or every year, every quarter billing. And if it is usage based, where you can collect everything and rate them and bill them on based on the monthly basis, whatever the frequency you have from the customer, and finally invoice it. So the overall BRIM covers all these components, like until the partner revenue sharing. Okay, that we will go in detail exactly we configure each and every component and what exactly the component being used on what scenario, right? And we have so many like out of the box functionality which satisfies the business requirements. So what we are going to use in the system, so we will use the latest pack, S4 box, and the latest S4HANA 2021 FSP00. And if we get a newer version, we will keep upgrading the system and we'll go through the system. So currently we have a 2021 FS00 pack and we will have a SAP CC 5.0 version. What is CC? Which I'll let you know, guys. What is Convergent Charging? It's again another Java-based application which we will use for the demo and I mean to say training purpose. So there is two industries functionality is being enabled. That is telco, SAP telco, and which is nothing but a service component, and contract account receivable and payable. These two additional business functions will be enabled along with your SD component. Okay, why we need to enable the SD component? I will explain the subsequent session. So again, as I said, right, the industry trend is changing, change in the economy. So the customer no longer a single transaction, as I said, right? The customer, if they purchase, they won't forget. Like so how do we attract the customer? How they come back on monthly basis? How the customer come back to the like it's a B2B, B2C, B2B to C. So every kind of business model is being supported by BRIM as a SAP overall component. So now anything, there is no concept called once you purchase you forget. So it is a long-term agreement, long-term customer relationship which holds the business versus customer relationship, right? So it's mainly focused on the subscription, usage, revenue sharing. How do we solution it? There is a solution code which gives you a lot of flexibility to sell multiple types of product, hardware products, software products, service products, right? So solution code is another new component which is part of your subscription order. So sorry, subscription management. And so there are a lot of custom discounts can be announced at the billing level as well as the order level, and we can bundle their products where custom offers on the fly bundling. Okay, so hard bundling. There are different kind of bundle products and premium services. A dozen more features being enabled within subscription economy, where we call it as a BRIM, right? So that where mainly focus on the relationship with the customer. It might be a B2B or B2C. Okay, so part of this training, what is being covered, what is not being covered, right? That's something which we will explain in this slide. So part of this training, so we have a managed subscription. This is the actual flow, right? When you so we replace the order to cash with the offer to cash component. So this whole BRIM is called as offer to cash, not the order to cash. Right? Offer means we offer, we retain customer. So the whole flow starts with subscription management and usage collection and pricing and charging, and finally you settle the bill and handle the payments and credit management collection and provide a customer care. So this is something which goes in the flow. So now within this flow, there are multiple system involved, right? With multiple system and components within SAP is being involved. So what is involved, right? In the managed subscription, which is called as a service, SAP S4HANA billing and revenue innovation management for a service. This service component is something which is called as a CRM version. Okay, so earlier we had this whole BRIM was in CRM system. So now that is being moved under service. So now, as I said, service is something is a replacement of our CRM box, and within that we have a subscription order management, that is a SOM component which requires for your BRIM component. Okay, so we will go through what is there in the service, what is required for your BRIM service. Okay, So that is something, a new component we will go through and discuss. And convergent mediation. As I said, so we started journey in 2009 with requiring ID, right? That's ideal is a conversion charging. Now, conversion charging has its own way of communicating to the external system, right? So that is also requires some mediator that is called as a, so SAP recommends a conversion mediation as a mediator, in the sense mediator to integrate with your front end applications, right? POS systems. So taking an example where you have a toll management, taking an example you have a various front end booths, right? So where those are all not using your SAP as application, they might be integrating with uh, your SAP system via some X mediator, right? So that mediator called as a convergent mediation, which is provided by Digital Router. Digital Router is another company, and SAP recommended mediation zone is a mediation is convergent mediation. This is another application which is not part of our training. I will cover a touch point will be covered, like what is exactly this, what are the out of the box plugins being provided to integrate with your external system, that will be covered. It is purely a Java based application which gives the integration between your front end application to your convergent mediation, which is your usage engine. So convergent charging, okay, that is about collection of the usage. Now pricing and charging, which happens here in the convergent charging. So this is another application where it's again a Java based application which will have a rating and charging happens. We will go through, we will set up the system, we will show you how the rating happens, what exactly the charging, conversion charging mean, how do we create a charge plan, how do we build, how do we create a seats, there is a seats bits component, there were different now you say terminologies being used, so what exactly it mean, how exactly we configure, so that will be covered part of this training. So once everything is done, we have a component called as a convergent invoicing, that is FICA, core FICA. So this whole billing settlement till providing a customer care, the whole component called as a FICA. So our training covers a convergent invoicing component. Later on, handling a payments and managing a credit collection, it's a core finance. So if you look at SD side, right? Once the SAP SD invoice is generated, so now it hits the GL, right? From there, the financial activity will start, right? Where collection, payments, settlements, all those things, the same thing. So the FICA component is an independent training, which is not part of this. Okay, core FICA component. So SAP Customer Financial Management. So from when we start the GL, so the training covers till where we will hit the GLs. Okay. And as I said, what component is being used? SAP S4HANA and SAP Convergent Charging. Part of this training, mediation is where integration point will be discussed. Okay. So, okay, now processing a subscription, these are all the component it goes through. Product modeling, we will cover how do we configure the product. There is a product modeling. We will talk about AVS, advanced variant configuration, how it is being used, how it is replacing your CRM knowledge base with your advanced variant configuration. How do we configure? How can we set up the configure? How do we price them? So product modeling is being discussed, trained over the period, and order capturing, how do we create a subscription order, how do we distribute this information to multiple components, that is called as a ODI, order distribution interface, right? So order distribution, how it is transferred through, and there are as I said, so the relationship between the customer and the business is a long term. There are a lot of changes happen within the contract, so there are different types of change process being involved in order to handle or retain the customer, right? Sometimes customer go for additional quantity. Sorry. Sometimes customer go for a change in the product. So there are a lot of change process available out of the box. We will discuss those change processes. And later on, we will move on to usage collection. How do we load the usage? How usage? How do we rate those usages and bill to the customer, right? So usages, what is the difference between online rating and offline rating? That we will discuss in detail. And later on, the component is called a convergent invoicing, where we create a billing document and invoice them. So this would be part of the training. So the whole flow will be covered. So as I said, the service component, which is a new component which enables your overall integration between all the convergent invoicing and convergent charging components. So this is where I just given the screenshot here. So we will go in detail, okay, each component, what is being used within this array, what is required for your subscription order management. So as I said, service is a replacement of CRM. So now there is specific CRM component or functionality available, which is not required for a subscription order management. Whatever is required for subscription order management will be covered part of this training. Case management, which is nothing to do with your subscription order management, this is not being covered. So what is required will be covered. So that is their part of our TOC. I will share that. So just to give a glance, right, how business partner integrates. So we have a business partner component. Earlier in the SD word, we used to use customer, right? Now it is no more customer. It's always, we call it as a business partner. So business partner is integrated with the customer vendor integration, and it transforms your business partner, and its relationship is built internally, and it integrate to your convergent charging system, and also it pass that subscriber account. So in the convergent charging, it is called as a subscriber account. How this whole business partner is being transformed from your order to, or from S4 system to CC system, how do we integrate, how do we configure this customer vendor integration will be covered part of this time. So again, there is another component which is called as a contract account, not a component, functionality. What exactly this contract account, how exactly we configure this contract account, how exactly it differs between your existing business agreement. In the CRM motion, it used to call as a business agreement, and now in S4 Ocean, it is called as a contract account. What exactly the difference between these two, how exactly we configure and integrate that to conversion charging. That is, in the conversion charging, it's called as an external account. So how do we distribute this information to the system? Where exactly this contract accounting account is being used? What is the purpose, and why, and what, and how? So these will be answered part of this training. So again, coming to the product management. As we know, CRM, we had different types of products. So we had a service products, and CRM also has its own product master database, and it used to integrate with the ECC version, right? Or in even given the point where S4. Now, since we are in a single box, S4 box, how exactly the product management being handled for subscription order management? So now the overall architecture divides into two parts. One is a general information which requires your subscription order management. That is general subscription data, which is part of your product master. We have a SUBS as a new product type being created by SAP, which uses the basic information for your subscription order management. And we have a specific subscription specific data, which is handled via APIs, which integrate with the CC Convergent Charging system. And there is no backend database, S4 database. It's always integrated via CC system. So that's called as subscription specific data. We have a specific Fiori app, which is given by SAP, which we will go ahead and use how exactly it integrate, how the data is being pulled from CC to this Fiori app, what data is being class catalog mapping, discounting, charging, what the basic data, how exactly this data is integrated, how it synchronously integrates with your CC system will be discussed in detail. And overall architecture, if you look at the subscription order management or a BRIM component, how exactly transfers the data and how exactly the flow, right? If you look at the overall flow. So if you are using SAP as a front-end system, as a sales rep, he logins to the system, he creates the subscription order, he enters the contract account, and he choose you will go and select the product or a product bundle. So we will discuss what exactly the bundle means. He maintains the technical resource. We will discuss what exactly the technical resource, where exactly is being used. in detail. So he saves the order. So finally he saves the order and he submits that order. So once he submits the order, it passed through subscription contract. There is a component part as a subscription contract which get created as a follow-on document to your subscription order. And later on, it distribute the data to respective components. So how exactly it distributes? How exactly it distributes for your hardware components? If something physically needs to be shipped, how exactly the data is exchanged between your sales and distribution component and subscription order management component. So that we will discuss in detail. So how do we create a sales order and part of your subscription order? How do we deliver? Again, how exactly it integrate back to your subscription order will be covered. And the CC part, convergent charging, which will be created part of your usage. So there is a component concept called as a SITs, chargeable items, bits, billable items, right? So those would be discussed in detail, and when exactly we create a SITs, when we exactly we create a bits. So when we rate and how the customer will get that information as an invoice document. So that will be covered part of this training. So this is all about how system is being set up and what is required as a consultant or as an architect. How exactly you should think through to build the system will be covered part of this training. So what is their part of this training is, so this is where the TOC. So we will cover a total 13 hours of classes, where 30 hours of a class and 10 hours of exercises. Okay. So now what content will be covered in the training? This is their part of this TOC document which I will circulate to you guys. So all the exercises again, right? I have just given in the different models like taking into consideration convergent invoicing and convergent charging and the subscription order management. So since it is very much integrated, the sequence will not go as it is. It may go here and there. Okay. So any questions? Overall, I've done with the flow and content for the demo. It's open for questions now.
Thanks, Vijay. I just wanted to ask you, like we have SOM consultant, CA consultant, and CC consultants, right?
Yes.
Is that again bifurcated now on the whole of BRIM we have, and then again, is it something extra that we need to know if they are, particular consultant?
Very good question. So see, normally outside, what the training would be like, it would be just trained on the CC. It would be just trained on the CI. It would be just trained on SOM, right, outside of the market currently. So then my training would be covering the overall. It's not just CC, SOM, CI. It covers everything, all three components. Now, so up to you, which one you want to choose. Now, you are good at CI, you are good at CC, or you are good at CC, SOM. Now, if you are good at SOM, you can choose SOM. And you are architect level. Again, if I'm talking about, okay, you are in the architect level, you will know all three systems, integrated systems.
Okay.
This training covers all three.
Got it.
So is it part of Hybris or?
No, Ibris, as I said, right? Ibris is, don't get confused with Ibris word, right? Ibris is something which is other application which was around 2013. They wanted to integrate as an Ibris commerce, right? Omni Chan, something which is nothing to do with our SAP component. They integrated this Ibris into SAP and they called it as Ibris billing. Okay. So now that is no more Ibris billing. It is called as a BRIM. So Ibris is removed.
Okay, so if we see the technical part of the coding of SAP is in ABAP, so the coding of BRIM is also ABAP, or is it?
Yes, it's ABAP only. ABAP based.
Okay, so it's in that case like Hybris is Java based.
Hybris, yeah, Hybris. So if you look at the applications, right, there are three things. one is Convergent Charging, right? It's a Java-based application, and there is SAP won't allow either you change the code or anything modification within that CC, Convergent Charging. So that is only the configuration. Okay. So other things, SOM and CA, Convergent Charging and Subscription Order Management, is purely based on the ABAP. Okay. Now, if you are talking about Ibris, no, Ibris is nowhere now linked to your back office. I guess if I am not wrong, I don't have that idea. Ibris is decommissioned. They are not using like anymore. Now they converted that Ibris into SAP CPQ.
CPQ
Okay.
is something different.
Yeah,
CPQ is altogether. Hybris was not CPQ.
It is again Ibris, a kind of a omni channel which provides you the front end application. Yeah.
Hybris is a commerce cloud. CPQ
yeah.
is
Code
entirely a
based,
different component
right,
of
right,
CRM, right?
right. So the Ibris is nowhere integrated to your BRIM component.
So in that case, I mean, so I just wanted to understand the because what I have learned so far is that in Hybris there is a very lesser scope for a functional consultant. It is more of a business analyst or a techno-functional consultant, which we see in any Java based or .NET based project, right? So
Yeah.
what's the scope of, I mean, when it comes to the BRIM, Hybris BRIM or the BRIM billing?
No more, as I said, right, Ravi. So there is no more concept called a Ibris BRIM. It's just a BRIM. From 2018, it's just a BRIM. So
Okay,
between
and
2013 to 2016, there was a concept called Ibris billing. It's not called as Ibris BRIM, Ibris billing, and it was integrated to your CRM system. So BRIM, Ibris was integrated to CRM. So all your transaction, whatever the transaction happens in your commerce platform, cloud-based, so that integrates to CRM for a billing purpose. Like it will create an order and it go for a billing and all other collecting the usage, all those things. So that was older version. Still, if the old clients are continuing with the CRM version, still it is there. Okay. Now the whole BRIM is changed this whole phases in terms of like subscription order management, which is called as a service component, and now service is going to be your integration point. And so now you would like to integrate your service component to CPQ or Salesforce CPQ or Ibris platform or any other commerce platform. It is open-ended. What data is being provided, it can integrate to any of the external systems.
so when you're saying service, you're talking about customer service, SAP customer service, right?
No, it is a new component. So SAP service as a separate component is being enabled part of 1809.
Okay, and the service is it like just the subscription? I mean, there are two. If I talk about service, so service has two aspects. One is the customer service, which has been or which has always been part of ECC, where you go and you do maintenance activities. You create your service orders, repair orders, and all. Another part of service is just you're selling services as a product, and you have a service contract.
Right. So now this service, whatever the new service which we are talking about, the CRM add this service order, repair order, all those things, right? So the CRM component of the service, CS, is being moved to as a like that whole CRM component is moved under the service, which involves both CS and SOM. So now for your BRIM component, it requires only the SOM kind of SOM functionality. So if you go back to this, right, this screenshot, here under service, you will find all the information which is there in the CRM. Okay. Now within this, there is only transaction. There are little information which covers for your subscription order management. As a service, it integrates to your service order management, all those things, right? Where CS, like it integrated to your like all the service order creation, service contract creation, that is still there. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions?
Training also helps us in the certification, is it? Will you touch base on the certification parameters as well?
Sorry, come again.
No, in this training, do you also train us for the certification, or how is it?
Yeah. So I would be going through some basic, see, as I said, right, this is purely functional training. So I will not go with, okay, as an end user training. Okay, it's not end user training. So what is required for your certification is something end user training. So I will be covering what is required for your certification, what kind of question comes, that I will support you guys, like a dumps and other things.
In this training, how do you run end-to-end cycle? Because you don't have a, do you have digital route to get the data to Convergent Charging, which is other system? It's not an SAP system, right? The CC component.
Right. So we will load the usage manually and we will rate them.
So it is something you add that component onto the server. Is that how you do that? Like
Right. There is a see, anything, if digital router, what exactly it does, it just translate the external data to CC language, right? So finally, where it comes to convergent invoicing, where we load the usage. We can directly load the usage and we can send them for a rating. So we can directly do that without digital routers.
So if I take an example of your charging station or anything based on the charges or based on the usage of the billing plan, what is consumption of end user point of contact? You capture the data which comes to digital route. From there, it sends to convergent charging to say, okay, this is the charge for this customer, and sends the data.
No, okay, that's the wrong assumption. So convergent mediation is not going to capture your data. Something external applications will capture the data that translates the data into CC language, like whatever SAP language. Okay. So convergent mediation is kind of, it integrates your external application to your CC engine. Okay, so now whether you need the translation, no, because I know what is the what I need an input to S4 system for a rating purpose, which we will go through in detail when we get into the system.
So what is that we learn in this when we call ourselves after this session, after this training, do we say we are good in SOM or SOM detail and CC high level and CI high level is what we get at the end? Is that summary that after the training? What is
after the expectation is you will have a SOM in detail training and CI in detail training, and CC with again CI in detail training in the sense convergent charging. You will get to know till the invoicing part. Again, as I said, CI convergent invoicing won't end up with your invoicing part, right? It goes further for GL and financial activity, which again that's not part of this training. SOM you will have in detail, CI part of still invoicing, and CC for a rating and usage. So CC loading the manual usages, creating a charge plan. So how do we create a charge plan? That would be covered. So overall, you will be strong in terms of service intake and how do we see the whole system integrated view.
And we are going to have S4 cloud, or is it on premise?
It's on-prem.
So it is only on-prem right now, this solution.
Yes.
It's not on
Right.
cloud.
See, BRIM on public cloud is there. It's not part of this. So BRIM on public cloud, again, that's something else, right? It's not a. It's just a BRIM on public cloud is different altogether. Altogether in the sense, the overall steps and configuration is going to be the same, but it's mostly covers Java application. It's totally different.
Can you repeat that again?
I didn't get it.
Okay, there are two things, right? One is BRIM on-prem system. Billing BRIM is on-prem support, which we use our on-prem S4 to configure and use that as a business as usual. And BRIM on public cloud, which is something which is starting now, in the sense I think 2020 they started BRIM on public cloud. Okay, that's again it's a SAP provided public cloud, right? So there won't be any development as such. SAP won't allow you to develop. So even I don't have in detail how exactly this Brim on public cloud. Okay, so the public cloud version itself is different. It works on Java based, majorly on the Java engine. So they have integrated the whole pricing component, everything internal. SAP purely the development and maintenance happens like within SAP itself. So public cloud version.
You're saying that the public cloud is a cloud only, right? So you're saying that Brim cloud is a Java based, but Brim on-prem is
So
ABAP
see,
based.
this is how it works, right? So what exactly? See, we keep our on-prem boxes in the cloud. That is something which is a cloud version of your S4HANA, right? That's something you are placing your server in the cloud. That is different. Now, when we talk about, there are components, right? When you look at the components like entitle management. So you guys are right, entitle management, pricing engine, there are various public cloud versions SAP releases, correct? SAP is releasing their public cloud versions. So now, who is managing those SAP public cloud versions? It is managed by SAP, and that's something which you will be configuring it. So now, there are a lot of Java-based integration. It's a microservice integrate. When I say Java, it's a microservice. Which integrates to your back office. When I say back office, your backend system, like some component is in your local on-prem, something is in the public cloud. Now, if you want to use your Brim as a cloud-based version, then SAP provides its own server and it integrates to your back office. So via microservices. Again, it's not part of our training. Don't go get into that. It's our whole training covers the on-prem version.
So on cloud version, when your configuration steps would be similar.
No, it's not a SAP GUI at all. There is no GUI. It's
Saying
only the
yeah, we understand Vijay, the cloud and the on-prem. We totally understand that it's not GUI. It's what I'm asking is that let's take an example of SAP S4HANA Cloud and SAP on-prem. Okay. So my configuration for my general configuration steps would be similar, or would it not be in case of?
It would not be. It's not the same. It's not the same.
So after this course, we would be we would be having knowledge of on-prem only, not the cloud.
The cloud is not part of. We are not covering the cloud, right? Even I don't have a server to cover. So we didn't do any cloud-based training. So it's on-prem subscription or the management, like a Brim component.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
What is the duration also, the course time and duration?
It's again right. The time again. Naveen will be discussing with you guys. Like whether you guys need a 4 hours or 3 hours, something which Naveen will discuss and let you guys based on the all feasibilities. The timing will be discussed.
In that it was given something like optional something. What does that mean in your course? In the course schedule, somewhere it is said additional topic part. Is it all covered? Is it all covered or optional or
no? Again, time permits, right? Convergent invoicing, triggering rating, optional, like complex discounting, right? If you guys interested, how do we create a complex discounting? Again, I thought of initially it was optional. Now it's like it covered part of the time.
Okay, all the 10 topics basically they're 10 till the 10 what we have.
Yes,
And
yes. Right.
And where do you configure now? Like right now, if it is forget S4 or anything. If it is an SAP box, we know you configure everything on the GUI, set up everything, right? Let's say you're doing S4. Is the configuration all on the on the front end, or do you do some changes even on the back end for this?
Sorry, that's the configuration will I didn't get the question actually. So you mean to say configuration will be done or only
Like
transaction?
let's say you need to configure business partners or product master or subscription order
Right,
or anything.
right.
To configure that document type or master data, is it all is it in the
Yes,
S4
yes.
HANA cloud?
Backend. No, again, don't go get into the cloud ocean, right? So cloud ocean is totally different. We are talking. Our training is mainly on the on-prem ocean.
Yeah, you're talking of S4 HANA on premise.
Yes.
So for that, do you do anything on the Fiori?
Yes, backend configuration versus Fiori. The transaction happens via Fiori, and the backend, whatever required configuration will be done, and we will discuss what exactly the configuration required in order to pull in the data into the transactions.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes, we have
Great. Thank you.
Please do
Please
share
let
that
us know.
yeah, we would do share this document with
Yeah,
us.
sure. I will discuss with Naveen to share this document.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.